Amateur budget, next.
On the counter, the half-finished arrangement lay abandoned. 80,000 yen for a funeral tribute wasn't enough for Atelier Hanako. It was an insult to their craft.
Grandfather, I tried. I should have worn a suit, not this old jacket.
Still here? Try a supermarket. They'll wrap anything in cellophane without sneering at your budget.
A few customers looked away. One woman covered her mouth. The shop's elegance felt suffocating.
Next customer, please. Don't waste my premium roses.
Tsubasa stayed planted. His calloused hands, years of gripping pruning shears, rested on the counter. He wasn't going to be dismissed like a weed.
These roses, they're perfect. Where does a shop in Aoyama source something like this?
An exclusive farm. The best in Japan. Not that it concerns someone who can't afford a proper arrangement.
For the first time, Chinatsu hesitated. The man in denim wasn't leaving, and his question, it felt like more than just curiosity. It felt like a claim.
An exclusive farm? What's its name?
You wouldn't know it. Unless you are a top designer. The Tsubasa Rose Farm means nothing.
She said the name with pride, as if brandishing a weapon. Then, to prove her point, she spun her laptop to show the supplier contract. The screen glowed. Exclusive grower contract, Tsubasa Rose Farm. Since 2008, annual renewal.
Every rose I've used for years comes from this farm. The finest in Japan. Do you understand now?
She doesn't know. The name is right there, and she still doesn't see.
Now, please leave. This contract is the jewel of our shop. I won't let a stranger devalue it with nickel and dime orders.
But as she said it, her eyes caught the name again. Tsubasa. The farm, the supplier, the man standing before her. The connection clicked, but the full picture eluded her.
Wait, Tsubasa? Why does that name feel like it's aimed at my throat?
Tsubasa said nothing. He only waited. The most dangerous words were the ones he didn't speak yet.
Wait, Tsubasa, are you saying you are from that farm? Show me proof. Now.
My name is Tsubasa. Here is the certificate. Rose grower of record. Since 2008.
That certificate had hung on the farm office wall for 15 years. Now, it hung in the air between them.
Number? That can't be. The exclusive grower is some old farmer, not this kid in denim.
My grandfather started that farm. I've managed it since he passed. Every rose you've used for 15 years grew in our greenhouses.
He tapped the screen, pulling up the current contract. The renewal date was circled in red, 3 weeks from today.
3 weeks? My entire career depends on a contract I just spat on. What have I done?
I came here to honor my grandfather. You canceled his memorial arrangement. Tell me, Chinatsu, was his memory an amateur budget?
The shop fell silent. The other customers stopped pretending not to listen. The scissors in Chinatsu's hand felt like an indictment, but Tsubasa didn't deliver the final blow. He simply put his phone away and waited. The contract still had 3 weeks.
Please, wait. I'll do the arrangement for free. Just don't cancel the contract. I was arrogant. Without those roses, I am nothing. Please, have mercy.
I need time to think. Right now, I can't look at these roses without seeing him. Excuse me.
He turned toward the door. The weight of the room pressed on his shoulders. He didn't look back. Behind him, Chinatsu collapsed onto the stool, head in her hands. The scissors clattered.
He's hurting, but he didn't yell. He just walked away. That's somehow worse.
Kaie's eyes followed him all the way to the street, silent. Murmurs rippled through the shop. A mix of pity and scandal. Atelier Hanako's flawless reputation had smudged.
The contract. He holds all the power. Why didn't he crush her? He's not done.
Outside, the Tokyo sun blinded him. He had 3 weeks. For now, he just needed to go home.
This is a disaster. Everyone out. The shop is closed. Kaie, what are you staring at? Clean up this mess. Throw those roses away.
But Kaede didn't move toward the trash. She walked to the counter where the cancelled arrangement lay scattered.
What are you doing? Those are premium roses. They're not for your little hobby project.
He came here to honor someone. Someone deserves these flowers. I'll finish what you started.
Insolent girl. I am still the head designer. You can't just...
Kaede didn't look up. Her fingers moved with quiet precision, stripping thorns, layering greenery, building something honest. Outside, Tsubasa paused. Through the window, a slim figure in an apron was gathering the same roses he'd left behind.
Who is that? She's not throwing them away. She's making a bouquet.
For the first time that day, something unclenched in his chest. Someone else remembered, even if only through flowers.
20 days. That farm boy holds our future. I need a plan. Now.
Her only option was to grovel. She grabbed her phone and dialed the farm's number, the one from the supplier contract she'd ignored for years. In Chiba, after a long day, Tsubasa walked the greenhouse rows. The phone vibrated. He stared at the screen, then answered.
Tsubasa-san, I am begging you. Name your price. Just don't cancel the contract.
I am not interested in money, but we can talk tomorrow at my farm. Bring your head designer.
He hung up. Chinatsu stood frozen, phone pressed to her ear. A meeting, not a cancellation, a sliver of hope.
He wants me to bring my head designer, but that's me. Unless he means...
I'll come. Someone needs to show him this bouquet.
That night at the farm, Tsubasa placed fresh roses at his grandfather's altar. Restructuring wasn't revenge, it was legacy. On the table lay the new draft. Tiered services, affordable memorial line, or no renewal. He signed the proposal page. Tomorrow would decide everything. The next morning, a taxi pulled up to the farm. Chinatsu stepped out, Kaede behind her clutching a wrapped bouquet.
Let him gloat. I'll sign whatever and rebuild later.
The terms are simple. You offer a memorial line, affordable, dignified. Otherwise, I find another florist.
Affordable? Your roses are premium. A discount line will cheapen the entire atelier.
Your atelier already cheapened itself when you mocked a grieving grandson. This isn't a negotiation.
Chinatsu's face went pale. The scissors she'd brandished felt light years away. She looked at the contract, then at Kaede.
We should do it, Chinatsu-san. I can design those. It's what flowers are for.
Fine. I'll sign. Just don't take the roses. They're all I have.
Tsubasa pushed the contract across the table. The pen trembled in her grip. Droplets smudged the ink, then Tsubasa countersigned. The Tsubasa Rose Farm seal went down beside hers. A new era began with a stroke of a pen.
Before you go, the bouquet I saw through the window. Who made it?
Kaede. She went behind my back. She did it without permission.
Kaede stepped out from behind Chinatsu, clutching the bouquet she'd kept hidden. It was wrapped in simple brown paper, tied with twine.
I am sorry. I know, it wasn't my place, but someone had to finish it.
Tsubasa took the bouquet, slowly as if it might dissolve. He peeled back the paper. No flash, no excess, just quiet grace.
This is the first time today I've looked at roses and felt. Not pain. Thank you, Kaede.
I just arranged what you grew. The roses did the rest.
Chinatsu stood rigid, forgotten. The air between Tsubasa and Kaede was different, thick with something unspoken but humane. Tsubasa walked to the farm altar, a simple shelf with his grandfather's photo. He laid Kaede's bouquet beside the framed certificate. For the first time, the farm office felt less empty. A stranger's kindness had made a memorial real. Back in Aoyama, Chinatsu gathered the staff. The farm's echoes still resonated in the silent shop.
Starting today, we open a memorial division. Affordable, dignified. It's required by our new contract.
A memorial division? That's what he asked for. Is this because of me?
Kaede will lead it. She's proven she understands what this should be.
The staff shifted. A junior florist, barely 2 years in, to head a division, unheard of.
Chinatsu-san, I am not qualified. I only arranged one bouquet.
Qualified or not, you are the reason we still have roses. Don't argue.
Tears welled in Kaede's eyes, but she nodded, a new weight settling on her shoulders. That evening, she stood before the staff room mirror. A brass badge read, Head of Memorial Design. Outside, the new sign gleamed in the evening light. Atelier Hanako, Memorial Division. Tomorrow, it would begin.
These are for your mother. I chose roses that reminded me of her smile.
The woman clutched the bouquet. For a price that didn't shame her, someone finally remembered her mother's warmth. In Chiba, Tsubasa scrolled through his phone. A post with 1,000 likes showed Atelier Hanako's first memorial arrangement.
She did it. The girl who made my grandfather's bouquet. She's really doing it.
He took the next train to Tokyo. Not to monitor the contract, to see the person. Through the glass, he saw Kaede bent over a design table, jotting notes on a new arrangement.
Tsubasa-san, I didn't expect you. The first order went well. I hope?
I saw. You honored someone. That's all we grow roses for.
He came all the way from Chiba just to say that? My heart won't stop pounding.
The shop hummed with quiet industry. Chinatsu watched from the staircase, invisible, as the Memorial Division logged its first success. Spring petals drifted over the farm. The Memorial Division's second month matched the cherry blossoms. Gentle, persistent, alive.
Kaede, come to the farm this weekend. Choose the roses for your summer line yourself.
The next Sunday, Kaede stepped off the bus into a world scented with earth and bloom. Rows of glass glittered under the morning sun.
It's like a cathedral of flowers. I don't know where to look first.
This one. My grandfather bred it 40 years ago. It's never left the farm.
It's beautiful. The way you care for these. I think that's why my bouquet worked. You already gave them meaning.
They walked the rows for hours, Kaede jotting names in a small notebook, Tsubasa cutting stems for her to examine.
This farm, it's been lonely, but today it feels fuller.
Then I'll come back. I want to see them bloom in every season.
Sunset gilded the glass. Kaede turned to Tsubasa, bathed in gold, and for a moment, neither spoke. The air held everything they hadn't said. As dusk settled, Tsubasa led her to the old farmhouse. The kitchen smelled of miso and fresh-cut herbs from the garden.
It's not much, just what the fields provide. Sit down. I'll put the kettle on.
You've lived alone all this time? Since your grandfather?
3 years. The roses keep me company. Some days, that's enough.
He says it lightly, but his eyes, they're like the greenhouse at night. So much hidden warmth. At the shop, I was invisible. Chinatsu never looked at my designs. I thought I'd be a junior forever.
You weren't invisible the day it mattered. You saw a stranger's grief and gave it flowers.
They ate in silence that wasn't awkward, but full of recognition of two people who understood loss. On the walk to the guest house, fireflies blinked along the path. The air was cool, but his words weren't.
I am glad you are here, Kaede. This farm hasn't felt like a home in years.
Morning dew clung to every petal. In the greenhouse, the air was already warm and heavy with scent.
Teach me how to cut stems. I want to feel what you feel every day.
He stood behind her, guiding her hands. Snip. A perfect 45-degree angle. She laughed when the stem fell.
You know, if you ever got tired of the city, this place could use someone with your eye.
What? Leave Tokyo and live among all these roses. You'd have to at least install a proper coffee machine.
The joke landed, but her eyes lingered on the rose, a moment longer than a joke required. Later that afternoon, back in Aoyama, the shop's elegance felt different, smaller, like a dress that no longer fit.
This place could use someone with your eye. Did he mean just for the roses?
You've been staring at that window for 10 minutes. Did the farm put a spell on you?
Kaede didn't answer. Because the truth was, something had shifted. And she wasn't sure she wanted it to shift back. Months passed. The memorial division thrived, and every week, Kaede visited the farm. But this spring day, heavy rain poured as she stepped off the bus, soaking her blouse before she could run.
You are soaked. Here, take this towel. The greenhouse is warm. I was starting to wonder if you'd brave the rain.
I nearly turned back. The station was a waterfall, but I wanted to see the new Akatsuki roses, and I wanted to see you.
He'd been pruning the same rosebush for an hour, his hands unsteady. Something had been building for months, and the air in the greenhouse was thick with it.
Kaede, I don't want you to leave. Not today. Not next week. I want you to stay.
What? My heart. It's going to pound out of my chest. Did he really just say that?
Every time you go back to Tokyo, this greenhouse feels colder. I've been alone with these roses long enough.
The rain hammered the glass roof, a frantic drumbeat that filled the silence between them.
I've rehearsed this in my head 100 times, but now I can't find a single word.
Neither moved. The roses watched in silence, holding their breath along with them.
Tsubasa, I don't know how to stay. My whole life is in Tokyo. What would I even do here?
Before he could answer, she shoved the greenhouse door and stumbled into the downpour, rain instantly plastering her hair.
Kaede, wait.
He caught her wrist in the open field, rain lashing them both. Mud splashed her apron, but she wasn't pulling away.
You asked what you'd do here. You'd bring flowers to life. My grandfather always said the farm needs hands that understand grief. That's you.
I've been scared to admit it, but every time I leave, I miss the sound of the greenhouse fans, the smell of wet soil. I miss you. Yes, I'll stay. I don't know how yet, but I'll stay.
Tsubasa pulled her against his chest. The rain couldn't wash away the heat between them. Around them, the roses bent under the downpour. But the farm had never looked so alive. For the first time, Kaede's smile held no question. Only home. In the weeks after the rain, Kaede split her days between Tokyo and Chiba. The early bus became a second home, a quiet threshold between two lives she now loved.
Tsubasa-san, I came to apologize. Not for the contract. For the day I shamed a grieving grandson. I was blind.
You chose to change, Chinatsu. That's rarer than winning awards.
He extended his hand. She took it, and years of pride melted into a single, firm grasp. One autumn evening, Atelier Hanako hosted Rose Origin, an event tracing each bloom back to Chiba soil. The shop was filled with clients and press. Tsubasa stood before them, the farm certificate projected behind him, rose grower of record since 2008.
My grandfather started with one greenhouse and a wish that his roses might someday mean something to someone. Today, thanks to all of you, they mean something to thousands.
In the front row, Chinatsu lowered her head, tears tracing the lines of her newfound humility. Kaede watched Tsubasa from the side of the room, her heart full. The farm he'd guarded alone now belonged to everyone, and to her. As applause filled the room, an image of the farm in full bloom lit the screen, a quiet promise that roots once tended never stop growing. Another spring came. The farm's roses bloomed in riots of color, but Kaede's hands were busy with a different arrangement, one she'd never designed for the shop.
These are all from the bush he bred. I want him to know we're still tending it.
At the cemetery, she knelt and placed the bouquet against the stone. Tsubasa stood a step behind, watching her.
He would have loved you, Kaede. More than any award, more than any contract. He'd be proud.
I never met him, but kneeling here feels like coming home to someone who already knows me.
Later, they sat on the farmhouse porch. The sunset draped the fields in amber. An old question hung unspoken.
Kaede, will you stay forever? Not just through spring, not just for the farm. With me.
Kaede turned, and the sunset caught the tears on her cheeks. Her hand tightened around his.
I already have Tsubasa. Since the day I finished that bouquet, my heart never really left.
No ring was needed yet. The answer was already rooted, like the old rose bush, steady and certain. Another spring, and the Tsubasa Rose Farm was no longer a hidden secret. A national magazine had come calling, its cover showing Kaede holding a bloom in the very greenhouse where everything started. The headline read, "From cancelled order to national treasure, the Rose Farm that changed an industry." Inside, the feature spread across 4 pages. There was Chinatsu, photographed with her team, her quote printed beneath a photo of the Memorial Division's first customer. Chinatsu's quote read, "I once judged a budget and insulted a legacy. That man in denim taught me that the value of a rose isn't in its price. It's in the hands that grow it and the heart that gives it." At the farm, a journalist sat with Tsubasa and Kaede on the porch, the same porch where a forever question had been asked.
The farm didn't change. The world just finally looked. And when it did, it saw what my grandfather always knew. Roses are for everyone.
He canceled my order. But that humiliation, it was the first cut in a new branch. Everything bloomed from there.
The article ended with a photo of the grandfather's altar, flanked by roses from the bush he bred. Below it, a single line, "Since 2008, these hands have grown every rose on her shelves." Copies sold out in Tokyo that week. But in Chiba, Tsubasa cut roses as usual. The truest legacy wasn't printed on glossy paper. It grew in the soil, unbothered by headlines. In the city, a new sign hung outside Atelier Hanako, proudly grown by Tsubasa Rose Farm. Est 2008. The story had come full circle, but the roots were just settling in. On the anniversary of the day they first met, the day his order was cancelled, Tsubasa led Kaede to a new corner of the greenhouse. A small, unfamiliar rosebush stood alone, draped in a white cloth.
This is a new breed. I've been working on it for 2 years. It blooms in your favorite shade, the exact pink of the first bouquet you made.
He pulled the cloth away. Dozens of pink blooms nodded on the bush, their petals flecked with coral. A small stake read, "Kaede."
You named it after me? I've never had anything so beautiful with my name on it.
Tsubasa knelt among the fallen petals. In his palm, a small velvet box. The same hands that cut roses now held a simple gold band.
Kaede, you gave my grandfather's memory a bouquet when no one else would. Will you give my life the same? Marry me.
Yes, 1,000 times, yes.
He slid the ring onto her finger, then cupped her face. Their kiss tasted of greenhouse earth and happy tears, a harvest years in the making. The greenhouse echoed with quiet applause. The workers had gathered at the door, but neither of them noticed the world had shrunk to a single bush named Kaede. That evening, they placed a single bloom from the new bush on the grandfather's altar. The certificate on the wall, since 2008, now bore witness to a new chapter. Summer arrived, and the farm transformed into a chapel of roses. White chairs lined the main greenhouse, petals scattered along the aisle.
I used every white rose we have. The Kaede bush blooms are for her bouquet. It's the least I can do.
In the farmhouse, Kaede held her bouquet, pink Kaede, roses tied with a ribbon from her first florist apron.
From a canceled order to this, grandfather, I hope you are watching.
At the altar, Tsubasa waited. Beside him stood a small table with his grandfather's photo and the rose grower certificate.
Look at them. The man I humiliated is the happiest groom I've ever seen. Maybe some cancellations are beginnings.
Kaede, I promise to tend our life as carefully as these roses. Through drought and bloom, I'll never let you feel invisible again.
And I promise to bring your flowers to the world, with every petal a reminder of where we began.
They slipped simple gold bands onto each other's fingers, the same hands that once canceled an order, now trembling with joy. As they kissed, rose petals rained from the greenhouse rafters. The workers cheered. The grandfather's photo seemed to smile. The farm had found its family. The wedding petals had barely settled when the real work began. Each morning, Kaede rode the delivery truck to Tokyo, Tsubasa loading roses beside her.
The memorial line has a waiting list now. I'll need more of the cream roses.
I'll add another greenhouse row. The Kaede bush is producing enough for 2 shops.
At Atelier Hanako, Kaede's team had grown to 5 designers. Chinatsu still ran the main counter, but the memorial division was now the shop's beating heart.
I used to be invisible here. Now I train the designers who will surpass me.
Tsubasa, meanwhile, had tripled the farm's contracts with boutique florists nationwide. But his greatest pride was the expansion of the memorial flower program. At sunset, they met in the fields, walking the same rows where they'd first cut stems together. The scent of roses was their daily bread.
We started with an insult and built a kingdom of roses.
The insult was mine, but the kingdom is ours.
The farm bloomed endlessly, rows of color stretching to the horizon. 2 figures stood small among them, but together they filled the landscape. Years later, the greenhouse echoed with a new sound, a child's laughter. Small feet darted between the rows, chasing a butterfly. Tsubasa knelt beside the old bush, his grandfather's creation. He gently touched a bloom, feeling the weight of time.
Aoi keeps asking about the photo on the altar. Who's the man with the roses?
They walked to the memorial altar. The framed photograph of Tsubasa's grandfather stood beside the rose grower certificate.
That's your great-grandfather. He planted the first rose on this farm. Every petal you see started with him.
The child reached out and touched the certificate's seal. Since 2008, a small hand on a century of roots.
And those roots will keep growing. One day you'll cut your first stem, and he'll be proud.
They stepped outside. The fields were blazing with summer bloom. Rows upon rows of roses stretched toward the horizon. In the Aoyama shop, a new shadow box hung behind the counter. Inside, the original rose grower certificate, a faded order slip from that day, and a single pressed rose from the Kaede bush. A brass plaque below read, "Every rose canceled can be replanted." The door chimed and the next chapter walked in. Same denim, new hands. The farm grew on.